Hi. So this is a reaction to the question of how much should you save before you quit your job to make an indie game? And my answer to that is both that it depends, and it's not a good question to ask. So first of all, I think the upper bound should be the maximum amount of money that you're willing to lose, because most likely, you know, you're not going to make really good return on investment on making an indie game. It's just reality of the market. Most indie games don't make money. The lower bound is, you know, depends on your team size, like how many people are there. If it's just you and you're able to do everything, then it should be your cost of living for the amount of time that you think the game is going to take to make, times some kind of multiplier, ideally maybe like 3 times as much, both because it's probably going to take longer than you think, and because it doesn't end the moment you release the game. Releasing the games is sometimes just the beginning. You're gonna have to support it, or it's gonna take a while before you actually start getting payments. It's not unless you're planning to get some contract work or something like that, freelancing. The moment you release the game, which maybe you should also do. I wish I would have done that with some situations in the past. Um, Yeah, and if you need more than just you, then the costs of those freelancers or whoever you're going to hire, I think it can really easily be a lot of money, like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the size of your game. Even if you think it's a small game, just for comparison size, Carnival Quest One, the first indie game I made, that was like 2010, 2011. I've worked part time on the prototype while I still had my normal game industry job, uh, probably like a year. I mean, it was very far from full time. It was only like weekends and occasionally evenings or mornings before work. So that year was probably equivalent maybe like 2 months of full time work. And then when I quit my game industry job, I had enough savings for like half a year, and in that half a year, I managed to finish and release the game. But it was actually really underbaked. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't really ready, and it was kind of buggy. And I literally released it when I had like 200 euros in my bank account, and it sort of worked. And I think a big reason why it sort of worked out anyway is that it was 2011, and it was much easier to make money with indie games in 2011 than in 2020. And after that, I continued doing like freelancing and eventually got a job. Then the next time I quit my job to make an indie game, that was with Slayway Camp. That was 2015. It ended up releasing a year and a half later, but I had a publisher, and a very uncommon situation where they basically paid for all of development, and sort of like just like an open check as much as it's going to cost. So within reason, it didn't end up costing that much. It was still made with a fairly reasonable budget for what it is. I believe it ended up being something like 400K Canadian dollars, and the game did end up being profitable, but it took it 2 years to break even, and basically 2 years for the publisher to recoup their investment, and I didn't get paid during that time after the game was released and after I was no longer working on it, because the publisher had to get their money back. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.